Hello and welcome to the Dublin Arsenal podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Giles. On this week's show, I'm joined by regular Arsenal season ticket holders Eamon Donnelly and Brandon Boyle to review Friday night's 1-0 home victory over Ipswich Town. And remember to check us out on match days on TikTok and Instagram. So sit back and enjoy the show. Also, a shout out to Pepsi, our sponsor, Thirsty for More, as always. As I said in my intro, it's great to have my two regular guests back from the Christmas. Eamon Donnelly, how are you, pal? Good Christmas?
Yeah, evening, Jonathan. Evening, Brandon. I was watching The Invisible Man on the telly there. He went to the doctor. He's still waiting to be seen. And then he said that you should never trust an atom. They make up everything. We're all good, you know. I'm just back from London, literally in the door, only 20 minutes now. And I was at the game the other day and spent a couple of extra days there. So here we are, all good.
And before we came on here, Eamon was showing me his match notes from Gatwick Airport. If that's not dedication, I don't know what it is.
Well, it's either that or drink the Weatherspoons tea because I was driving. So I opted for the notes.
I was also going to say that I go for notes. And they're there to tea, and Weatherspoons is God. It's just slop. It's the best way to put it. And it's expensive now, I have to say, as well, for a pint as well in the old airport. Yeah. I'm also joined by Brandon Boyle. Back again with us. Good Christmas, Brandon.
Yeah, so far so good. Can't complain.
To have you back on, pal. And looking well as always in your Arsenal attire. The best looking lad here, Eamon. Do we agree? No comment. So that says it all.
I wouldn't exactly have this show down as a beauty pageant.
Eamon is really ending 2024 in a high as he started at the end.
As they say, it's definitely more suited to radio, you know.
It's more Merlot than Perlo, I think we might say.
Perlo, yeah.
Yeah, it's great to have us back on. I'm sorry for Eamon offending you, Brandon, but you've taken it well, so then he's used to it now. Yeah, as always, thanks to Martins Dunville and Derek that look after the Instagram and TikTok for the Dublin Arsenal Supporters Club. Really good on match days, and it's going from strength to strength. So thanks very much to everyone who listens and subscribes to the show. We kick on with the match review from Friday night, 1-0 against Ipswich Town. A sole goal from Kai Havertz, 1-0 to the Arsenal. Leaves us in third position with 36 points, and Liverpool are still top with 45, and Nottingham Forest there second with 37, surprisingly. But 1-0 to the Arsenal, we'll take it, especially with Bukayo Saka, who looks like he's going to be out till at least March. A huge loss to us, I think we'll all agree. But surgery that had to be done, I was looking at, and he's a fit boy, and I think he'll come back stronger from this, you know, from his Instagram post, from his hospital bed. So speedy recovery, Bukayo. We end 2024 with the most Premier League wins, 26, and the most clean sheets, 18. So that shows where we've come from January to December under Mikel Arteta. When you see the mess that Man United are in, if we take a look at that, and let's not get into meltdown. Straight to the action, I suppose. Ipswich went close very early on. Leif Davis, who sent over a good ball to Sammy Smodix, who just missed it. And that was really, I think that was after the first minute or two, and that was kind of a bit of a wake-up call, you know, early on. That Leif Davis lad has some delivery on him as well. He's really impressed me for Ipswich this season. I thought Saliba done a great job on Liam Delap. He couldn't hold up the ball, didn't get time to do it, and I thought himself and Gabriel snuffed out that position really well. In fairness, Ipswich didn't really trouble us at all. Really, you know, they defended really well. I thought, in fairness, their defensive backline of O'Shea, Wolfenden and Greaves done really well. You know, I thought they held the line really well at the back, but they defended really deep, and we found it really hard to break through, I think. Timber had a great chance. He ran through the midfield of Ipswich to a gaping hole, and the shot was well saved from their goalkeeper Murridge. It was really, I was really impressed, I have to say again, by Urine Timber. Really athletic, strong, and just burst his way through. As for the goal, I thought Trossard skinned Ben Johnson. He's got a bit of pace on him, and he skinned him down the line. Sent over a great ball across to Kai Havertz, who took his chance really well. He buried it past Murridge, and I thought after that first goal, I thought the floodgates would have opened, but it didn't happen. Declan Rice had a long range effort just over as well in the first half, and Jesus' goal that was disallowed was a really good, nice little deft finish from him. Just underneath Murridge in the goal, but when you look back on it, it was just offside, unfortunately. But you can see he's hungry after getting those 5 goals against Palace in the League Cup and the league. So, really impressed again with Jesus, bit of hunger back. Into the second half, Gabriel on the Euro mark missed that header from the corner when he was running through. Somehow missed it. Looked like odds on he was going to get a goal from the corner, but. Look, these things happen. Odegaard had a shot he hit over. And then there was a chance when Odegaard crossed in from a corner kick when Declan Rice hit it first time, and Darragh O'Shea was in the way to block it. It looked like a certain goal. And then Marino, who had another impressive game, I have to say, his curling shot was well saved by Murridge, who just pushed it around. I think all in all, I'm happy enough with a 1-0, with the busy fixture list we have in December, and it keeps us well in the mix, I think, for a league title charge. It's still early days, nothing's won yet. I'll come to Eamon Donnelly. You were at the match. Eamon, best view as always. Your take on it?
Well, best view? Well, I couldn't see it. It was like Sherlock Holmes hounding the Baskervilles. It was very foggy. But
that's a great description, all right.
Yeah, it was. I was expecting Basil Rathbone to come out of the crowd and light up his pipe and solve all our problems, trying to break down a packed defence. But it was a very strange game. It was very strange altogether because last year I was at the West Ham game the same day when we lost 2-0. And it's a kind of a surreal thing. You get into the King's Head and people are in Christmas mode. People have been shopping and all that. And the football kind of just 8 o'clock or 8:15 kind of creeps up on you. And then all of a sudden you're in the ground.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a strange thing. But the first thing I'd say is that, like, Ipswich set up with a 5-4-1. They had 5 defenders, 4 midfielders, and then Delap. And that's only the second time they've done that this season. And the other time they did that was against Man City earlier on the season. And actually, Smodic scored early in that game. Like he could have done the other night. But that begs the question to me, right? Every team that now plays us, sometimes even the home team like Fulham, they set up with that low block. So the question is it because they think that we don't have the craft to break them down? Or is it because they're afraid of what will happen if they go at us the way Palace did and got carved? I'm still not sure which it is. But Ipswich decided to just play with a low block and stay in, and we found it difficult. We haven't yet made the connections to cope with the loss of Saka.
Yeah.
That'll take a small bit of time to get that right. And I think it'll happen organically and incrementally. It won't just happen where you see, you can't replace Saka like for like. Nobody has, apart from Mo Salah at Liverpool, nobody has anybody who could do what Saka does, right? So we can't just say, we'll stick so-and-so out on the right and everything will be okay. It won't be okay. We've got to find different ways of playing. We've got to find different relationships on the pitch. I think you said that last week, Brendan. Different relationships on the pitch. And that doesn't happen in one match, So it was strange that when we got the goal, and I heard you saying there, Jonathan, you think the floodgates would have opened. But Ipswich actually decided to stay put.
Yeah.
When they went the goal behind, Ipswich decided to stay put. And I think what they were trying to do was stay in the game until 10 minutes to go and then open up and have a real goal. and we totally controlled the game. I mean, I think it was something like the second highest possession stakes in the first half ever in a Premier League game, 88%. And I think what happened in the second half was actually we made a conscious decision, give them the bloody ball. And actually we tried to draw them out and catch them on the counter-attack because it was very, very difficult to play the way through them. The goal was very good. The most impressive thing about the goal for me was we put in one cross that went across. Trossard gets it and does very well to beat his man. But if you look where Kai Havertz came from on that goal, it just shows you the quality he has. Like he was out of the reckoning when the first cross went in, and he landed with a really kind of incisive run into the box to be there at the right time. But the reason why the floodgates didn't open was Ipswich just decided to keep doing what they were doing. And to be honest with you, we controlled the game so much that it was the easiest 1-0 victory I've ever seen. They got nowhere near us, no. And even when we gave them the ball, they were trying to do things, and our defensives, we decided, look, we're not conceding many goals lately. We decided, look, we're trying to bang our head off a brick wall here. We're 1-0 up. There's 3 points in the bag, and it just, the whole feeling around the ground wasn't frustration. It was, can we just get this done? Get out of here, 3 points, and move on. And that's the way it seemed to me.
In terms of the disallowed goal, Eamon, did you think that was offside yourself?
I was offside. Jesus was offside. But the other thing is, I was right behind. I was actually on the North Bank for a change. And I have to say to you, I'd much rather be in the clock end. The North Bank is populated by moaners. Why don't we get a striker? Why don't we that? Doesn't know what he's doing. Oh my God. It would suck the life out of you.
Yeah.
The fact that it was in Johnny Google's young for the seat probably had some, maybe the moans are coming up through the seat. I don't know, but no, it was I actually had to pull a fella up at one stage and said, what striker are you gonna get? I'll get Isaac from Newcastle. But people don't understand. He's not for sale.
Yeah.
He's not for sale. Stop all this nonsense, But anyway, no, I mean, I got the feeling that with 20 minutes to go, we just said, look, just get out of here. We're not going to run up. I think if Gabriel's header had gone in, which he should have, I then think the floodgates would have opened because Ipswich would have come out to do something. But they didn't. They decided to leave it on the last 5 minutes and chuck a bit at it, and it was routine. It was as routine a 1-0 victory as you could ever see.
Yeah, Ipswich is Calvin Phillips made a few meaty tackles in that match as well. He got away with a few there, yeah, especially one on Gabriel at the corner. Yeah,
it's the only thing he can do.
Yeah,
he can do nothing else.
Were you impressed the way they defended Ipswich, Eamon? Kieran McKenna, he has them solid enough, hasn't he? As you said, they stuck by their plan. Keep it tight.
What impressed me about that was that's not the way they play. So, I mean, obviously a lot of work went into drilling them like that. But,
yeah,
it's not the type of football anybody wants to see. I mean, it was so deep. It was worse than everything.
Were they actually close, Eamon, that early chance I mentioned? Sammy Smoddick's miss. Was he close? Was he close to ever getting near that? Or, the telly always makes it look, from your viewpoint, were we looking at to go 1-0 down at that stage?
No, I didn't see that type of danger from where I was.
Yeah, as well.
Yeah.
It was the most controlled game. Yeah, I suppose for a 1-0 victory. Yeah, I do agree with you, Eamon. Brandon, 1-0 to the Arsenal. We expected when me and Eamon were predicting, we thought about 3 or 4. But what was your analysis on the game?
I just want to correct you there. 2-0, I said.
Eamon also says he wants Arteta out, but and in the year, no hunger, Eamon.
To be fair, likewise, it was a game I was expecting us to win. Win well, but as Eamon was saying, they changed their formation to completely stifle us, and so they did. And it's one of those. It's about the result, not the performance. And I think this entire month is going to be about result and not performance. Light on the ground again with players out injured and such and so forth. And I imagine that's only going to get worse for the whole month. And there's a lot of, but they're all winnable games, to be fair. So we just have to get over the line with them. And I think most people realise that, and we're not expecting 4-0, 5-0 every game, especially, as I say, especially in this month. But going back to the game, it was instantly forgettable, I think, really, to be honest. It wasn't. Yeah. One stage they whacked up on the TV, it was 85% possession to, which was it was just us just banging our heads against the wall. My only issue is I thought we were a little bit one-dimensional, and with Martinelli on the right, I thought first 5-10 minutes I thought he did okay, and even with the goal, I thought it was a really good cross into the box that ended up at Trossard, and obviously that ended up with a goal. But then after that, I think he put another one in before that, and maybe one in quite shortly afterwards. And after that, I thought he was back to not trying to take any chances. Whether that was coached into him or not, I made a point with him and Ian Wright on the previous podcast about how Ian Wright had sort of bigged him up a bit, tried to give him some confidence. And I thought the last game he looked okay. This game, after the first 15-20 minutes, non-existent. But I thought our whole forward line was the same. But my one little thing that I thought Odegaard was off the pace, and when he's off the pace, and he was given quite a number of his balls were intercepted. I thought in one period, especially in the first half, and when he doesn't really click, we don't click, and but they just sat there. And as Eamon said, I think if we'd have scored a second goal, they would have had to come out, but they were just holding on, and then they did put us under a bit of pressure late on in the game, but I don't think it was any dangerous pressure they put us under. I thought the defence was excellent across the board, and one of those, just get it over, get it done with, move on to the next one.
Do you think that could have been a game as well, Brandon, for Eaton and Weary down the right there? He's got a bit of, hasn't he?
Again, like, I really like him from what I've seen, and I think he's going to be a wonderful player. But whether, he's managing him very, very carefully. But sometimes I would like him to let the leash off and give him a go. And it would be interesting to see. And as I say, we've got so many games this month, and I think especially the forward line has to be rotated, and they only have the last 70 minutes anyway. So he's going to get a lot of time, even if he does only do his 20 minutes or thereabouts. But again, it's about result and not performance. And Martinelli, no matter what I might say about him, defensively, he's fabulous. I think he'd be a great wing back, to be honest, because he doesn't score enough goals, but defensively he's so strong, really clever. I think I noticed that whenever Sterling has come on, Sterling doesn't offer anything near stability that Martinelli does. But and Ranieri, again, we haven't really seen enough of him. He does seem to get around the pitch an awful lot, and I'd love to see him have start a game on that right and see how he is, because I don't think Trossard offers us enough on the other side either. Jesus buzzed around a lot, but he's playing against good defenders, so and a lot bigger than him. But yeah, but as I said, if the second goal had gone in, they would have had to have come out. But they just sat until the last game where they were allowed to have a go.
Yeah, Brendan, could I just make a point about Martinelli? Because, as I said, I was in a different position in the ground than normal. I was only 3 rows back at the corner flag on the North Bank, so I had a good look at Martinelli on the right hand side, right? And and this is what I meant by relationships and connections on the pitch. So if you look at where Martinelli's standing position is on the right hand side, his starting position, he's off the shoulder of the defender and he's waiting for a ball down the inside channel, the way he looks for it on the left. When Bukayo Saka's there, he can do either. He can feign to go one way, but if it comes inside, narrow, well, then he can link up with Odegaard and make that triangle that's so effective, you know, and then you get a Yuri and Timber coming on the outside and all of that type of stuff. That relationship hasn't developed yet. So Martinelli's natural starting position is alien to Odegaard on that side, and it's alien to Declan Rice until they've worked it out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And the second thing, and Brendan mentioned it, like Martin Odegaard needs a goal.
Yeah.
He needs a goal, and he should have scored. I mean, he's jinked in. He's jinked in inside the defender. He's got to hit the target from there. I mean, he really does, you know. Yeah. And like against Everton, he's missed 3 chances. Against Monaco, he missed an open goal. To me, that was one he should have put away. And I just think if he got a goal, things would change for him, you know.
Yeah, you were in the best end of it there in the North Bank game, and when he had those chances, he went in and out with players, you know, mazy runs that looked like it was going to become something, you know. He was just unlucky, as you said.
But the shot he took, it was like a Zabutio player.
Yeah.
No, like it was miles away.
Yeah.
Leaning back. That's not Martin Odegaard.
Do you think if he gets Eamon, you know, do you think if he gets a goal or two over these coming weeks, do you think that's when the confidence will flow and, you know, we see the Odegaard that we all know and love? Because he isn't playing bad. It's just, as you said, the lack of goals, isn't it?
No, his play is good, and I make an exception for him because he's taken a lot of whacks on that ankle this season, you know, and I'm not sure he's fully back and fully confident. You know, and as I said on the show last week, when you're not confident, you feel like one football boot's going to trip over the other boot's laces. When you're confident, you feel like everything you do with the ball is going to do what you tell it to do, right? And I just get the impression that because Martin has missed a few chances, he's kind of shanking at them in a way that a confident Odegaard wouldn't. And I just think if he roofed one into the goal, I think that would change everything. We saw it with Gabriel Jesus. I don't think Martin's playing that badly. I think he's still getting over the effects of that injury. But I don't think he's playing that badly. But certainly in front of goal, he's more Sonogo, like, you know, than Martin Odegaard, you know. But I think that's something that will naturally correct itself, you know.
Do you think that was, as I said to Brendan Eamon, do you think that could have been the game for Nanwiri, you know, on that right side?
It might. Well, if you look at the point I made, about Martinelli's starting position and Saka's starting position, given that Nwaneri is a left-sided player, it might have been something to try.
Yeah.
But again, it's all about knitting relationships. You see, the problem with putting Nwaneri on the right is he's more of an inside player. He's more of an inside player that takes the ball on the turn and works the inside channel. I'm not sure what it'd be like on the outside. No, I wouldn't be down on him. Brendan is right. Martinelli's a very honest player. He really is an honest player, you know.
He tries and tries,
If you have players and they're up against a brick wall and things aren't going for them from an offensive point of view, if they give you the honesty to do the rest of the game the way they should and do their defensive duties, you can't really have any complaints with that. you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
With reports like on our thread there that was put up, I think by Craig, Fabio Vieira was left out of the game for FC Porto for the game against Boa Vista. It looks like his return is imminent. Do you think
No, he's not. He's not coming back. He's
he's
not
not
coming
coming
back.
back?
He was
That
he,
was
he
just
was left out of the team because he turned up late for training twice, and he's not coming back. And one of the problems that Fabio Vieira has had at the Arsenal, as I understand it, from my small bit of inside knowledge, is that he didn't work hard enough.
yeah.
He won't be back.
He won't be back.
No.
With Bukayo Saka, lads, it looks like it's on to be March. At the earliest that he'll be back from this injury of his hamstring. We all know now. I suppose first to you, Brendan. Do you think with the January transfer and now only a few days away, do you think will Mikel Arteta trust the squad that he has, or do you think that he'll dip into the transfer market for even possibly a loan move for a winger? In your opinion,
Difficult one to call, because I think, like everybody else, it would be great if we could get somebody in, but the problem is you need somebody who's going to be absolute quality and can hit the ground running.
Yeah.
We've got two guys on loan from the Premiership, so we can't get anyone else from the Premiership. So that means you've got to bring in somebody that probably doesn't have any experience in the league, and then you're taking a gamble. Is a loan, that's a possibility. I'm sure they're looking behind the scenes to get a little bit more meat on the bone up top, because we, to be fair, we haven't replaced Eddie Nketiah. So yeah, I don't know. Like, Wenger was a very hard guy to second think. Arteta is right up there. So
yeah.
I think if they could find somebody who ticks all these boxes, then I think they would take somebody. I think the money's there, but again, I think they'll take somebody on loan.
Yeah.
Going to take anybody. Let's talk about Kingsley Coman. But then again, he's never played in the league. So
Just even talk, Eamon and Brandon. I know it's only speculation at this stage. You can't go on, newspaper reports. But Conor Muani of PSG, but he hasn't been prolific really for PSG. And if you're not really, that way is. That question to you, Eamon. Do you think he'll dip his toe into the January transfer window?
Well, what you want to avoid is taking Dennis Suarez, that type of thing.
Yeah, that type. Yeah.
Just because you need a body and somebody who doesn't hit the ground running.
Yeah.
Right, but if Raheem Sterling hadn't got injured, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Yeah.
If Raheem Sterling hadn't got injured, we would have been all okay with he's not Bukayo Saka, but he's proven quality, and a run of games, we'll see what he can do. And I think everybody would be comfortable with that, right? But Raheem Sterling gets injured, so then Brendan's right. We can't, the one thing that we must not do is shell out money on somebody who, in a summer market, we wouldn't have considered to be good enough to be playing for the Arsenal. There's no point in shelling out 30 or 40 million quid for somebody who we don't want.
And trust me. They're not going to get who they want. Like, they're talking about Isaac. They've whacked 150 million quid in him. He's not for sale, as you said earlier. Vlahovic, again, I think there's always been talk about him. And the guy that he really wants is Sesko. Again, he just signed his new contract for the year. He's not going anywhere in January. So all the guys that that I imagine he really wants.
Well, one of the rumours I heard, Brendan, was this guy, is it Nusa, from RB Leipzig, right?
Yeah.
He's only 19, and he's pulling up trees there, blah, blah, blah. Now, if it's a thing that we wanted to buy him next summer, well, then go for it. If it's a thing that he was in our plan for next summer, then you go for it. If he wasn't in our plan, then you don't go for it. And we make do with what we have. Or you could probably, and again, I was never a big fan of Kingsley Coman, to be honest with you. But I mean, he's done it all. So, you know, a loan body, it would be much in the same mold as the Sterling loan, not long term. But the one thing I'd urge caution about: don't spend money on bringing a player in that you don't think is a durable option for the Arsenal. You know?
And I completely agree with that. And if your first choice or even your second choice guy are maybe 10% or 20% more expensive in January, but they are available, then I think you bite your hand off for them, because that might get the line. Look, you know, we've got a long way to go, and we're going to need probably more than what we have. But I'm of the opinion as well. I'm a bit again like Arsene Wenger. I always felt like we were spending my money buying these players, and
it's fitting into the club's DNA, and you know, the right attitude, and you know, and the right work rate. You know, Arteta's been cute enough, but there hasn't been there hasn't been many bad signings, you know, since he's come in over the 5 years. You know,
I remember going back to January 2009, and I was having a pint with a good friend of mine, Neil Doyle, who's a big sports fan, and he's a League of Ireland referee. You know,
right.
Knows his football inside out. I remember saying to Neil, we were in 5th place at the time, and we didn't look as if we were going to get Champions League. This is 2009, when we were brought up on a diet of Champions League football every year, year on year. And I said, Neil, what do you think the Arsenal need? He says, if I were Wenger, I'd go out and burst the bank to get Andrei Arshavin, right? And he wasn't actually that expensive, and it worked. It worked in 2009. So it needs to be an opportunity like that. But if that opportunity isn't available, you don't just start buying careless kick a ball because somebody saw him on FIFA Manager and they think he's great and all of that. You know, Arsenal, and some people might get frustrated with this, but Arsenal vet every player really, really, really forensically before they buy them. So it's not just about what he's got in his feet. It's about what he's got in his attitude. Will he fit into the Arsenal family? Will he disrupt the dressing room? I mean, there's talk about we should go out and break the bank for Kudus from West Ham and all of that. But I'd say, well, first of all, West Ham ain't going to sell him, number one, I don't think. And number two, only if we had our eye on him for the summer should you do that, you know?
I think what Eamon says is really good, because that harks back to the Ivan Toney interview, or alleged interview, with Edu and Arteta. Like, they wanted him. He did an interview, allegedly, and stank the place out. He went to, like, no one's touched him since. Like, he's out in Saudi or wherever he is.
I don't think he'd be good for. I don't think Tony'd be the type that'd be good for the dressing room. You know, I think Brentford kind of saw. You know, he thought he was bigger than the club. You know, he's just one of those egos. I think you just could see he's a prolific striker and all, but it just didn't seem as a fit for Arsenal. You know,
have a very young dressing room as well.
Yeah, very young. Yeah.
Somebody in that's very, very experienced with an attitude or a chip on their shoulder, it obviously doesn't augur well for the rest of them. Now, I think someone like Jorginho, for example, has been amazing.
Exceptional.
Yeah. Okay, well, Brendan, just to kind of put the cherry on top of the point you're making. Like, who do you think would be better for the current Arsenal dressing room? Jorginho or Aubameyang?
Jorginho, hands down.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I sit in the West Stand, and the substitutes warm up right in front of me. I've seen Aubameyang warming up, and you can see the amount of interest that he had, which is little to none. Warming up. He's basically coaching the team from the sideline, and he's barking, his hand gestures, and it's fantastic to see, because that shows that shows somebody that is brains and has a belief in the players and in the team and in the squad. And I think anyone that notices that notices or is aware of how important he is to everybody. You listen to what Declan Rice says about him. It's like, the best midfielder he's ever seen. He's always there. He's in the right place all the time. Obviously, it would be nice if we had him 5 years before. But at the same time, I'm a massive fan of him.
Yeah. Here.
Yeah, he's another. Yeah, and when you see our January transfers, from the Arteta, Leandro Trossard and Jorginho, of course, and they've really helped the team in the second half of the season. Yeah, but just the experience Jorginho brings from, being at Chelsea, winning trophies, and obviously being a super player for the Italian national team as well was a bargain of a signing. Yeah. Your man of the match, lads, from Ipswich Town there on a Friday night. Eamon, yourself?
Miles Lewis Skelly.
Yeah, he doesn't look out of place at all, does he?
Well,
and he picks a really good pass, Eamon, doesn't he? He's level-headed.
Well, he won every single tackle he went into.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
Yeah, he's a strong boy.
I did a kind of a swatty out of the Beano routine, and I looked up his pass completion rate for the crack, and it was 98.2%.
98.2%.
So if you're winning every tackle you're going into, and you're getting on the ball constantly, and you can complete 98.2% of passes. No, he was very, very good the other night. Really good,
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great shout out, Eamon, to him. Yeah, he's only done to get better and better, you feel. Brendan, your man of the match from Friday night?
Yeah. I'll just carry on there with what Eamon was saying about Lewis Skelly. Spoke about him in the last time I was on, and saying how he was not scared of anybody. He was big enough to everybody. And I noticed it was Gabriel got pushed into the bollards there around the corner, and basically Miles Lewis Skelly was basically giving the big one to the Ipswich player over it. Which again, as an 18-year-old, is great to see. It's really good to see, and long may it last. So,
not only that, Brendan, that's a very good point. But not only that, I mean, you remember Daryl Emmanuel Frimpong? He would have stood up to anybody, but Skelly can back it up with his feet as well.
Yeah, he's nimble-footed, isn't he?
Yeah.
So, man of the match, Brendan, Miles Lewis Skelly as well.
No, because just to be different, I'm going to go with Saliba.
Yeah, I was trying to give that myself. Yeah. Yeah, he had Liam Delap in his pocket all game, hadn't he?
Saliba or Timber?
Yeah, I thought Timber was really, he was unlucky that chance he had in the first half where he drove through the Ipswich midfield. It was straight at Murridge, but he just saw it and he went for it. He's very, so it's such an athletic, he's just well built as well. He's got the whole package. Yeah. But yeah, I know Liam Delap after the match, he said William Saliba's the hardest defender he's played to come up against, because he says he keeps at you for the whole 90 minutes and doesn't switch off. There's a compliment. For someone so young, and he's only done to grow, Saliba. Yeah. December goal and player of the month, lads. Begin with Eamon first. Your goal of the month for December.
Goal of the month for December is Gabriel Jesus' first goal against Palace in the League Cup, for having the absolute balls and temerity when he hadn't scored. He hadn't scored since post-war, and to try a little chip finish like that was that was the goal of the month for me. Yeah,
100%, Eamon. Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. Does that dink over Henderson? Had he was done to go around him. He just, especially a player that hadn't scored since January. It takes some balls to do, but it got him off the mark, and hat trick then in the end. Brendan, goal of the month for December.
I'm trying to think. Was West Ham away in December? Was that the first?
That was the end of November, Brendan.
Okay.
The fixtures, Brendan, just to refresh you. 2-0 over United. Fulham 1-1. Everton, of course, was 0-0 stinker. The Palace game 5-1 at Shadows Park, where Jesus got a couple, and then obviously of 3-2, of course, against Palace in the cup, and then obviously Brentford from the Havertz goal.
I like the second Jesus goal where he just sort of curled it in that little top
from the corner kick.
Thomas
Yeah.
Partey.
Yeah, it was beautifully curled in. Yeah, Henderson had no chance. Yeah, 5 goals in 2 games against the same opposition isn't too bad, is it, when you haven't scored since January? Player of the month, Eamon, for December?
Well, you might laugh at me when I say this, because I was telling you to relax about Miles Lewis-Skelly. That don't overhype this kid.
Yeah.
But I think for what he's achieved in the game in the last 4 weeks, given that he'd no experience, to where he's landed himself, I can only say that's some progress in 4 weeks, and I'm going to give it to him.
Yeah, I was only giving once again Eamon is stone in my player of the month. Yeah, and Miles Lewis-Skelly just doesn't look out of place, and he's so comfortable on the ball, and his defending is really.
It comes with a word of caution, Jonathan. I mean, the lad could go through a dip, and we've got to be patient with him,
Yeah. I just, as you said, in 4 weeks, it's just incredible, isn't it? Like, he just, it's like he's played there since start of the season. Yeah. So hats off to Lewis-Skelly, one of our own as well from the Hale End Academy. Brendan, player of the month for December.
I'll have to make it the threesome, because
you don't get that all the time on the show.
he's come in with Ranieri, and Ranieri obviously getting headlines all over the place, and now he seems to be a little bit almost more established than Ranieri. Ranieri can't get a start, and Lewis-Skelly is coming in and starting in the same position that Bukayo Saka started in. As a midfield player. So doesn't. I think he's one of these players that can play anywhere. And I think that should be something that all players should be able to play in multiple positions. So I'm quite happy to agree with the two of you on that one.
Thanks very much, Brandon. Always appreciated. Miles Lewis-Skelly, there you go, pal. December player of the month, and I think hands down to Gabriel Jesus for that dink over Dean Henderson for goal of the month, and obviously that one from the corner kick where he placed it nicely in the post champ, as they say. A good show, lads, for the Ipswich Town review. Thanks always, and again to Eamon Donnelly, week on week, and there's dedication straight from Gatwick Airport, and to Brendan Boyle. Thanks again, pal, for coming on this evening. Catch our show on the Dublin Arsenal YouTube channel as always, and on Spotify, and we'll be back for the review on Thursday of Brentford away, which is on New Year's Day. So to see it out of 2024, thanks again. Happy New Year to everyone. Have a great New Year's Eve, of course, and we'll see you again for our show on Thursday. So until then, have a great one, lads.